psychological contract is basically the deal in the head, what people believe they've been promised by the organization and what they believe they owe in return. Very difficult in many cases for senior people in organizations to know what goes on in the heads of their employees. And for that reason, we developed the concept of the psychological contract and the research tools to do the assessment. The reason I study the psychological contract is because I think we do a very poor job if we just adopt a formal or corporate lens to what employees think and believe is their relationship to their employer. What we've learned over time is people have very limited understanding of what goes on in the minds of others, especially if the people who are trying to figure out what's going on have a really strong frame of reference, their job and their role. And by that I mean managers and executives. You're in an executive position or a managerial position. You don't focus on the same things other people do in the organization. Hard to walk in their shoes, hard to know the influences that operate on people's thinking.
Well, basically, since psychological contracts are, as we heard today here at our own conference, everywhere, in every kind of employment relationship, in every kind of relationship actually in general, between employees and managers, between employees in teams, between people at different levels in organizations, both blue-collar workers, white-collar workers. It's everywhere, and it influences how people behave in general, what they like, how they perform, why they're motivated or not, and so on.
My lectures for managers, they say really like, oh, we should have known about this for a long time, right? Because what I find is that when you have leadership theories, they kind of have the weight on the leader. So who is the leader? What kind of style does the leader have? But when you do piece of research, it's more you give the voice to the employees, right? Which I really like. And also you give the voice to the individual employee. That, you know, the manager cannot only do, you know, one thing for everyone, but you have to actually look at each employee and see, so what does this employee really expect? And I think that's a very important knowledge for the managers to know. Yeah. Period.
Psychological contract research is very important for managers, mainly because individuals' perception of what they owe to the organization and what the organization owes to them drives their behavior. And as long as managers clarify what these obligations are and employees know what these obligations are, then there could be understanding about the reciprocal obligations, which is going to be beneficial for employees to do their job in terms of their in-role behavior, but also in terms of helping others, like extra-role behaviors.
I think that all parties, employees, managers, organizations, and in the end society is really benefited by getting a better understanding of what people expect of each other in that relationship and how you can manage that and how you can deal with disappointment when things don't go the way we expected, say, in times of change, reorganizations. The support that you can give people really helps in getting that relationship right, even though the conditions are tough. So there's a lot of things that we can do with that, and I think it's very beneficial for organizations to know about this.
Research is important because it can really give us much more insights as to the logic of why do people act in certain ways, and then when you get into the processes, then basically you can anticipate maybe on certain behavioral outcomes.
Practically speaking, it can help anybody in organizations by giving them a language to talk about what is happening within this relationship. It can help managers, obviously, very easily by thinking about how to structure relationships so that they can benefit both employees, but also benefit the organization and the goals that they're trying to help their employees reach, so that it can affect the bottom line in that regard. Because if you can do anything to help motivate employees, to help guide their efforts towards organizational goals, that's going to be a really useful thing. Employees benefit, employers and organizations benefit. I do believe that organizations exist not only to help the customers that they serve, but also because they're serving a societal need. Most of us spend a lot of time at work, and work should be a good place. People will do better work when the organization that they're working in is more supportive of who they are as people.
Good work. So when you think about questions how PC research can help employees, it can help them to get more happy, more productive, and have a nice working life. Managers can learn from PC research on how they can listen and have an eye for what employees want from their work, and so they can use that in the way they supervise and manage the employees. They can take these things into account, and it also can help managers to clarify what they want from employees. And so what they think the employees are obliged to provide to the organization. Organizations can benefit in using the psychological contract as a strategic tool in their strategic management. And it's also beneficial for society, because employees, they are not only working in an organization, but they also are part of the bigger society. So in that way it also helps all of us.
To be issues and problems that pop up from time to time that are unavoidable, and organizations will have to break promises every now and then. What I'd like to do is figure out how we can repair relationships when they're damaged by such things. So this helps employees, this helps employers, it goes around, the world's a better place.
Psychological contract breach is very useful to explain why the organization did not receive the benefits as much as they might have had when they invested in the HR or employment practices. And so this will benefit a lot to the line managers if they understand the employee psychological contract, because they can make sure that the employees, what they offer to the employees will meet or match with their psychological contract term. And so this will benefit a lot to the line managers if they understand the employee psychological contract, because they can make sure that the employees, what they offer to the employees will meet or match with their psychological contract terms.
Why do you do PC research?
I've been in PC research now for the best part of 30 plus years, because I believe it's a very effective way of helping employers, and I've worked particularly with small employers, improve their employment relationships. And that's important because that means they get better work from their staff, the staff have more job satisfaction, they produce better, they stay longer, and it reduces one of the worst problems for small employers, it's too much staff turnover. And I've been convinced of that for a long time, and the research in recent years has become more and more supportive of that.
feel that psychological contract research is extremely relevant. It's important not just to understand why employees are motivated to go to work every day and do their utmost best, why they love their jobs or not. It's also important for organizations in general to create a stimulating environment to work in, and as a whole, as an organization, to perform just well.
Research.
It's because it's important for the employees make their expectations about what they expect from the organization. It's important to communicate it as well, because if they don't let the organization know what they expect from them, so the organization will not be able to establish a balanced psychological contract.